So what exactly are the pros and cons of owning an EV?
We're going to tell you.
I'm Luke.
And I'm Rachel.
And this is Spinner EV.
So the first pro is that the car is eco-friendly, as much as a single vehicle can be. It's obviously an electric vehicle, and so it's not using fossil fuels. And since we get our energy from our solar panels for the most part, we're not, creating fossil fuel emissions by using our EV. The con is that it does have limited range, especially the Fiat. My poor little Fiat, it tries real hard, but it can only get 88 miles of range on a full battery charge on a good day. This one does a lot better, but still, an EV is not going to have the range that a gas-powered vehicle is going to have.
Let's talk about money. A big pro on an electric vehicle is lower operating costs. Electricity costs considerably less than gasoline. I've got a video that I'll pop up right here comparing cost per mile analysis after we had our Fiat. I've got other ones that talk about how much this car costs me to drive per mile. It's about 2.5 to 3 cents per mile for the fuel compared to about 12 for our Subaru. It also doesn't have much in the way of maintenance costs. Never have to do an oil change on this car, no matter how many coupons your dealership gives you for a free oil change. You don't need one on an electric vehicle. A con is that they have a higher upfront cost. EVs cost more money than internal combustion engine vehicles. They just do. I have a comparison video I'll pop up here comparing the Bolt EV to the Chevrolet Trailblazer. And the Trailblazer starts off with a lower sticker price. The EV is cheaper in the long run, but not out the door.
So next we're going to talk about time. The pro is that it's actually much quicker to charge up your car at home than it is to stop at the gas station and fill up a gas-powered car with fuel. It takes 15 seconds to just plug in your car, and then you spend the rest of the time doing whatever, sleeping or doing whatever you want to do while the car charges, and you don't have to supervise it. On the con side, it does take longer to charge if you're on a road trip and you need to charge at a fast charger. Obviously, if you just fill up your gas-powered car, takes 5 minutes, maybe a little bit longer, but when you're charging an EV, you have to actually wait for it to charge, so that can be a half hour, 45 minutes or longer to actually get to whatever charge you need to move on to the next charging station.
Electric vehicles are loaded up with advanced technology. When Rachel and I were younger, electric vehicles were the thing of science fiction, so I guess EV manufacturers believe that they kind of have to continue that sci-fi thing. We've got, blind spot monitoring that's fairly standard, lane keep assist, and other cars have this, but we've got an HD backup camera that is just insanely clear and a big screen to see it on. Backing this car up is so easy with that backup camera. And the heated steering wheel that's in this Bolt is something I did not know that I needed, but I don't know if I will ever purchase another vehicle that doesn't have one. Con in terms of technology is going to be the public charging infrastructure. Right now, public charging infrastructure is just not anywhere near as plentiful as gas stations. You need to plan your trips ahead, knowing on where the chargers are, and then sometimes they don't even work right, and sometimes they don't even work at all. We've been fortunate that even when we've had charging malfunctions when we're out on road trips, we've been able to go to another charger less than a mile away, so always have a backup in mind.
Pro. All EVs have instant acceleration, which is great. It's a lot of fun to drive. You get tons of power on the front end, but it also makes it a little bit safer because it does give you that instant acceleration. It allows you to merge onto traffic quickly or get out of the way on a turn. It's really much safer and more maneuverable that way. That's a great pro. A con of an EV is that the tires are a little bit different. They do a harder compound rubber, and sometimes they're a little bit more highly inflated, and that can cause them to be have less real resistance, which makes it more efficient, but it also can make them a little bit less grippy on the road. Sometimes those wheels do slip just a little bit.
Back to money. A big pro are the government incentives that are on electric vehicles. This Chevy Bolt and a few other cars are currently eligible for as much as a $7,500 federal tax credit. Now that's based on your income and your tax liability for another couple of months, and then that's going to change to maybe being able to sign it over to the dealer to get the whole thing. Not every EV qualifies for that, and not every EV qualifies for the full 7,500. Some used EVs under $25,000, if you can find them, qualify for a $4,000 tax credit. Other states, depending on where you live, have other incentives. Our electricity provider gave us a $500 rebate just for installing an EV charger at our house. So government incentives are a big deal. On the flip side, if you live in a state like I do here in Texas, you have some government fees that have just been put in place, such as the new registration addendum to electric vehicles in the state of Texas of $200 per year to offset the fact that we're not paying the 25 cent per gallon gas tax. Is it 25 cents per gallon? I don't know. We're not paying the gas tax. I did a calculation and found out that if I was putting gasoline in this car, I would pay about $150 a year in gas tax, but the state wants to charge me $200. Rachel, in her Fiat, would probably only pay about $70 a year in gasoline tax, but on our Fiat, we still have to pay the $200. It still saves money in the long run, but those fees can kind of sting.
EVs are heavy. They're generally significantly heavier than their gas-powered counterparts. This has a pro in that they really maneuver well. They have a low center of gravity and they're extremely maneuverable and very, very stable on the ground. The con is that they're heavy, and some people find that to be a big problem. It's not a problem for us, but yeah, they're heavier.
And a big pro, you'll meet new friends. People will come up and start conversations with you, asking you questions about your car. If you're really sociable, that's a big pro. A big con, people will come up to you and ask you questions about your car. So if you're not sociable, that can be another one. But you're going to get asked the same questions over and over again. How many miles do you get before you have to charge? How long does it take to get a full battery? You road trip in that thing, you'll be asked those questions quite frequently. And most often, those questions will start to be asked to you about 30 seconds from when you're supposed to unplug to get back on the road, and the conversation will last an extra 5 minutes. You got to figure that into your charging time.
So those are the pros and cons of owning an EV as we see it. Obviously, we decided that the pros outweigh the cons because that's why we own 3 EVs. It might be different for you.
The EVs are not going to work for everybody out there, and we admit that many times on all of our videos. But they work very well for us, so much so that we probably won't buy another gas car in the future. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe. You can check out the links to our social media down in the description, and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.